So in today's class, we're going to be learning the laws of indices. And I expect that at the end of this lesson, that you should be able to simplify expressions involving indices using all the laws that I'm about to teach you right now. First and foremost, what are indices? An index, also called an exponent or power, tells us how many times a number is multiplied by itself. For example, you have 2 raised to the power 3. Okay? Now, what does this story 2 over 3 tells us? It tells us that 2 is multiplying itself 3 times. And when you multiply 2 by itself 3 times, you get 8. Then we have 5 raised to the power 2. It means 5 is multiplying itself twice. And when 5 multiplies itself twice, it gives us 25. Then we have 10 raised to the power 4. What does that mean? It means 10 is multiplying itself 4 times. And when 10 multiplies itself 4 times, we have 10,000. Let's look at the vocabularies involved. If we have a number 7 raised to the power 5, 7 there is what we call the base, and the base is simply the number we want to multiply. Then the index, which is 5, or what you call the exponent, is the small number showing how many times the base is multiplied. So in the example 7 raised to the power 5, the base is 7, while the index is 5. What are the key points to note? Repeated multiplication can be written using indices. So instead of a long multiplication, just simply rewrite it in index form. Now let's begin to look at the laws of indices one after the other. We begin with this first one called the product rule. Now, what does the product rule state? It states that when multiplying numbers with the same base, what you simply do is to add the indices. So we have a raised to the power m times a raised to the power n. The base there is a, and both terms have a as their base. So if we have both bases as a, what we simply do is to what? Add their indices. So where we have a raised to the power n times a raised to the power n, just simply do a raised to the power m plus n. Examples: 3 raised to the power 2 times 3 raised to the power 4 will simply be 3 raised to the power 2 plus 4. 5 raised to the power 3 times 5 raised to the power 2, it is simply 5 raised to the power 3 plus 2, which gives us 5 raised to the power 5. Then we have 2 raised to the power 5 times 2 raised to the power 1, which is simply 2 raised to the power 5 plus 1, and that gives us 2 raised to the power 6. That is that on the product rule. We go to the next rule, which is the quotient rule. What does the quotient rule state? It states that when dividing numbers with the same base, just simply subtract their indices. So we have a raised to the power m divided by a raised to the power n. Both bases are the same, which is a. So what we do is to do a raised to the power m minus n. Let's look at the examples. 7 raised to the power 6 divided by 7 raised to the power 2 is simply 7 raised to the power 6 minus 2, which gives us 7 raised to the power 4. If we have 5 raised to the power 5 divided by 5 raised to the power 3, what we'll do is simply 5 raised to the power 5 minus 3, which gives us 5 raised to the power 2. Then we have 2 raised to the power 8 divided by 2 raised to the power 8. We simply do 2 raised to the power 8 minus 8, which gives us 2 raised to the power 0. Any number raised to the power 0 is simply what? 1. Remember, you're multiplying numbers with the same base, add the indices. When you are dividing numbers with the same base, subtract the indices. Our next rule is power of a power. If we have a power of another power, what you simply do is to multiply the indices. So if we have a raised to the power m, which is raised to power n, just simply do a raised to power m times n. Look at the examples. 2 raised to power 3 raised to power 2. Just simply do 2 raised to power 3 times 2, which gives us 2 raised to power 6. If we have 5 raised to power 2 raised to the power 4, just simply do 5 raised to power 2 times 4, which gives us 5 raised to power 8. Next rule, we have what we call the power of a product. How do we find the power of a product? Just simply raise each factor to the given power. What does that mean? If we are given AB in brackets raised to power n, what you're supposed to do is to raise a to the power n and also raise b to the power n. For example, we have 3 times 4 in brackets raised to power 2. Your answer should be 3 raised to power 2 times 4 raised to power 2. If we have 2x in brackets raised to power 3, what we ought to do is 2 raised to power 3 and x raised to power 3. What is 2 raised to power 3? 2 raised to power 3 is what? 8. Alright, so that answer becomes 8x raised to power 3. Now on to our next rule, which is the power of a quotient. How do we deal with this kind of question? What does this law of indices want us to do? We simply raise both the numerator and the denominator to the given power. For example, we have a over b in brackets raised to power n. Our answer will be a raised to power n over b raised to power n. For example, 3 over 5 in brackets raised to power 2. That will give us 3 raised to power 2 over 5 raised to power 2. What is 3 raised to power 2? 3 raised to power 2 is 9 and 5 raised to power 2 is what? 25. So our answer will be what? 9 over 25. In the second example, we have 2x over 7 in brackets raised to power 2. How do we do that? 2x will become 2 raised to power 2 x raised to power 2 all over 7 raised to power 2, which gives us 4x squared over 49. Now to the next law of indices. It states that any non-zero number raised to the power of 0 equals 1. So any number that is more than 0 raised to the power 0 must give us what? 1. For example, 9 raised to the power 0 is what? 1. 100 raised to the power 0 gives us 1. X raised to the power 0 gives us 1. 1 million raised to the power 0 still gives us what? 1. And finally, we have what we call the negative index law. What does the negative index law in the law of indices state? It states that a negative index means you should take the reciprocal. And what does the reciprocal mean? It means you flip the fraction. For example, if we have a raised to power minus n, that will become 1 over a raised to power what? N. As simple as that. Now let's look at the examples we are given. 2 raised to the power minus 3 will give us 1 over 2 raised to the power 3. So what is 2 raised to the power 3? 2 raised to the power 3 gives us 8. So our final answer will be 1 over 8. If we have 5 raised to the power minus 2, it will become 1 over 5 squared. And what is 5 squared? 5 squared is 25. So our answer will be 1 over 25. And the last example there, we have x raised to the power minus 4. Alright, so our answer here will become 1 over x raised to the power 4. Now keep this in memory. If you have 0 index, index means if any number is raised to the power 0, our answer is 1. But if you have a negative index, just simply flip the fraction. Take the reciprocal. If you have x raised to the power minus 6, what you do is 1 over x raised to the power what? 6. If you have 3 raised to the power minus 5, it will become 1 over 3 raised to the power 5. Now we'll go to the examples. Let's begin with question 1. Question 1 says, simplify 4 raised to the power 2 times 4 raised to the power 5. The rule says, when you are multiplying numbers of the same base, just simply add up their indices. So we have 4 raised to the power 2 plus 5, which will give us 4 raised to the power 7. And that is our final answer. Then question 2, we have simplify 9 raised to the power 7 divided by 9 raised to the power 3. The rule says when dividing numbers of the same base, simply subtract their indices. So we have 9 raised to the power 7 minus 3, which will give us 9 raised to the power 4. That's our final answer. Then number 3, we are asked to simplify 3 raised to the power 2, which is raised to the power 4. So we will use the multiplying the power rule. So here we have 3, alright, raised to the power 2 in brackets raised to the power 4. What do? We simply write the base, which is 3. Then we multiply our indices. So that is 2 times 4. Our answer will be 3 raised to the power what? 8. That's our answer. So if we are given simplify 5x in brackets, alright, raised to the power 2, what do? We simply raise each number in the bracket to the power we are given. So that means we'll do 5 squared and then we also do x squared. What is 5 squared? 5 squared is 25, while x squared is what? X squared. So our answer here is 25x what? Squared. Then number 5, we are asked to simplify 4 over 7, alright, raised to the power 3. What we'll simply do is to raise the numerator to the given power and raise the denominator as well to the given power. So what do? We have 4 raised to the power 3 and 7 raised to the power 3. Now, what is 4 raised to the power 3? 4 raised to the power 3 is simply 4 times 4 times 4, which gives us 64. Then we have 7 raised to the power 3, which gives us 7 times 7 times 7, 343. That means 4 over 7 in brackets raised to power 3 is equal to 64 over 343. Now to question 6. We are asked to evaluate 15 raised to power 0. We have said any non-zero number raised to power 0 gives us 1. So that's the answer. Then number 7, we are asked to simplify 6 raised to power minus 2. So we do what? When the base is raised to a negative power, what we simply do is to take the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of this? It will become 1 over 6 raised to power 2, which is 1 over 6 raised to power 2 is simply 6 times 6, which is 36. All right, so let's go to more complex ones, like number 8, where we have 2 raised to power 4 times 2 raised to power 3 divided by 2 raised to power 5. So we have two laws of indices at work here. First, we have the multiplication or product rule, and then we have the division or quotient rule. So let's implement all of them at the same time. So all the bases are the same, so pick 2. Then for multiplication, we simply add up the indices. Then for division, we subtract the indices. So this becomes 2 raised to power 4 plus 3 minus 5. What is 4 plus 3? 4 plus 3 is 7. And then 7 minus 5 gives us what? 2. So the answer to 2 raised to power 4 times 2 raised to power 3 divided by 2 raised to power 5 is equal to 2 raised to power 2. Simple and short. Then we have question 9. Simplify 2 raised to power 2 in brackets raised to power 3 times 2 raised to power 2. So two laws are involved. We have a base raised to a power, all right, raised to another power. Then we have the product what rule, which is times 2 raised to power 2. Beginning with the power of a power, we are told that if we are given power of a power, we simply do what? Multiply. So this becomes 2 times 3. The first term there will become 2 raised to power 6. All right, times 2 raised to power 2. Now, applying the product rule, since they have the same base, pick one of the base and then add up the indices. So the indices here is 6 plus 2. So our final answer will be 2 raised to power what? 8. And then the last question there, which is question 10, we have simplify 10 raised to power 5 divided by 10 raised to power 2 multiplied by 10 raised to power 3. All right, all the bases are the same, and then we have two laws at work, the quotient law and then the product law. And we're going to implement all of them at the same time since we are working with what? The same base. So I'll pick the base, which is 10. Then the first index there is 5. Division means minus what? 2. Multiplication means plus what? 3. So we have 10 raised to power 5 minus 2 plus 3. What is 5 minus 2? 5 minus 2 is 3. Then 3 plus 3 is 6. So for the question 10 raised to power 5 divided by 10 raised to power 2 multiplied by 10 raised to power 3, our answer is 10 raised to power 6. We've come to the end of this lesson. Kindly pause the video as many times as you need to. Then complete the attached classworks and assignments to gain complete mastery of the laws of indices. See you in the next lesson.